camps, even if there was no conflict with Israel, are just humanly horrible. They're so overcrowded. And you have 14 to 25 people living in a space. There's no place for children to be there. No streets, there are little alleys, no trees, nothing.
انت بتقدر تسكن هنا تقدرش لانه المواقف صعبة هنا، والواحد اذا وقف قاعد هنا عطول بتلمس، قبل ما يضرب الصاروخ بيبقى متلمسين لانه كل ما يضرب الصاروخ بتشقق الحيط.
قصيفة من فوق دخلت على الشباك، بعدين كسرت كل الشبابيك والدار انحرقت. ليش هما كسروا غراض، كسروا لعبة، لسه في كتير غراض ساحوا، كله رميناه على الزبالة والأواعي رميناها على الزبالة، بنشحت من دور الناس أواعي للباس، وحتى الأكل اللي بناكل فيه ريحته غاز ومش راضيين نصب أواعينا، وهينا لابسين غاز. لو تشموهم أواعينا، خلي اليهود يجوا يشموا أواعينا ويشوفوا دارنا. كل ما نيجي نتحمم في الدار، نيجي نعمل نشوف الريحة كلها كتلاتنا كتل. هاي الأواعي شوف ها ما لمناهم مش غير شم غاز. ايش بدي اسوي؟ حتى نظارتي اللي ابويا جاب لي اياها ما فرحتش عليها، حتى الاسوره اللي امي جابتها الحلق الخواتم ما فرحتش عليهم. كيف بدي افرح عليهم والعقد وهداك؟ كيف بدي افرح على اغراضي انا؟ نفرح على اغراضنا بايش؟
يعني اطفالنا مش عارفه تعيش ولا احنا عارفين نعيش، يعني عيشه ايش بدي اقول لك، كلها خوف ورعب، عايشين في الخوف والرعب.
انا بروح المدرسه كل يوم بسمع الطخ، انا بخاف من الطخ، حتى بصير راجف لما اشوفه.
This is what has been fired on this neighborhood. This is civilian neighborhood. There are no soldiers here. There are no military installations here. This is strictly harassment to get these people to move away from the border so that the Israeli tanks can move at will. They want these people cleansed from this area. It's that simple. And it's a way to get people to be humiliated and destitute again.
In Gaza you can see also the extent of house demolitions, much more extensive than in the West Bank. Whole neighborhoods have been demolished. Hundreds of people do not have any houses anymore because they are next to settlements or next to the border, which is of course a clear violation of humanitarian law.
People have no chance to get their personal items out. They have no chance to call for help. And this is far away from most media outlets. You are amongst the very few journalists who have even seen this. European or American journalists who have even been here because people are afraid to come or it's too hard to come.
And one of the things we were told in Gaza by very respected Palestinian psychologist who had just completed a study of 1,000 Palestinian children was that they had discovered that many of these Palestinian children no longer had a will to live, that they were so dehumanized and so affected by seeing their fathers particularly beaten by Israeli defense forces, that the psychological condition is one of the dimensions of the conflict that is not widely understood.
Palestinians called for an international observer force that would stop the violence, but this action was blocked by Israel. Finally, a group of Palestinian and Israeli human rights activists together created the International Solidarity Movement, which has brought people from around the world of all ages and backgrounds to provide a nonviolent international presence to try to fill this need. Rachel Corey, a 23-year-old American student, went to Gaza to join in these efforts, sending back emails to her parents.
I have been in Palestine for 2 weeks and 1 hour now, and I still have very few words to describe what I see. It is most difficult for me to think about what's going on here when I sit down to write back to the United States. Something about the virtual portal into luxury. I don't know if many of the children here have ever existed without tank shell holes in their walls, and the towers of an occupying army surveying them constantly from the near horizons. I think, although I'm not entirely sure, that even the smallest of these children understand that life is not like this everywhere.
It was Sunday afternoon in Charlotte, about noon actually, and I received a phone call, and my son-in-law, Kelly, was on the phone, and he asked if Craig was there. And something about the way he asked made me realize, I felt right away that something was wrong. And then I asked, why, Kelly? And he hesitated for a minute, and he said, we've had some very sad news. And then my daughter, Sarah, I could hear her in the background, and she got on the telephone, and she said, Mom, it's Rachel. And I think the first words out of my mouth then were, is she dead?
We were opposing the demolition of farmland and other property, Palestinian property by Israeli destruction forces and bulldozers. And the bulldozer drove up, and it kept going, and she tried to move back, but she couldn't move back, and she got caught underneath. She got caught underneath the bulldozer. Many other internationals began to surround the bulldozer and yell at it and tell it that there is somebody there, and it did not stop.